Beyond the Badge is brought to you by the Edina Crime Prevention Fund.
Ever since Senator Rankin Fite made the first 911 call in Haleyville, Alabama in 1968, those three digits have become synonymous with calling for help from emergency services. But what actually happens when you dial 911? Let's go to the Edina Police Department, where Fire Captain Ryan Quinn is with Dispatch Supervisor Tony Martin to discuss what happens when someone in Edina calls 911 and when it's appropriate to make that call.
Thanks, Brian. We're here today at Edina's 911 Dispatch Center with Supervisor Tony Martin.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Great. Today we'd like to talk about what to do when somebody calls 911.
Okay, great question. Typically when people call 911, it's usually for an emergency. However, we aim towards when in doubt, call 911. And the reason being is we feel that we want people to call when in doubt. We don't want people to delay, the response if truly they need 911 police, fire, or EMS services.
There's a lot that goes into the questions that you guys ask when somebody does call 911. Can you explain some of those questions and the importance of when somebody does call, not to hang up and to stay on the line with you?
Absolutely. When people do call 911, the first thing that the dispatcher will typically do is either ask or verify their location or ask the type of service that they're looking for. The reason being is those are the two main items that we need to be able to send people. We need to know where we're going to be sending responders, and we're also going to need to know what we're sending them to. So one of our first questions will be to verify that location, and that's the reason being the information that's going to be displayed on the 911 system might give us the address, however, it might not be accurate. If people have voice over internet phones and they don't update those, depending on if they move, it will still come to the location where their billing will be sent to. So they have to verify that with their service provider. Also, on a cell phone, it's going to give us maybe a generalized location of where they're at, depending on if your phone has GPS. However, we're not able to tell the height or floor that somebody might be on. So it's truly important to verify that information so we can make sure that police, fire, EMS response is sent to the correct location.
And it's important to kind of let people know that they're not going to get in trouble if they accidentally call 911.
If you ever call 911 on an accident, or if you ever call, we do not want you to hang up. And the reason being is you might actually delay a response, because your call will always still come through to us with your information, and we have to follow up on that if you hang up. The reason being to make sure that there is truly either an emergency or not. But if you do hang up, we have to call back. Or we might send responders to something that might not be a problem. And if you do call 911, you will not get in trouble. We just want to verify that there either is a problem or not a problem.
And you'll determine on which emergency services to send in a kind of a general way, whether it's police or emergency medical or fire, or sometimes a combination of all three.
Correct. So each call for service type, or each nature code, has protocols set in the background of what we chose generalized for that. However, each call is different, and so the dispatcher can determine whether or not they need to either upgrade or necessarily sometimes downgrade that call on the response, but you'll always get somebody that will come to the call. And so medical type calls, you might get one ambulance and 2 police officers who are EMT certified. Depending on the type of medical, we might actually also add in the fire engine crew for more personnel, depending on if CPR is in need, or if it's a larger person, maybe somebody up in a difficult location. So we might have to send additional personnel, or if it's a minor type medical, our dispatchers are EMD certified, which is a medical dispatching protocol, and they can actually ask those questions and will either downgrade or upgrade depending on the questions that are asked on that caller.
And our dispatchers here in Edina, they can talk somebody through very basic and sometimes even more involved medical situations.
Correct. So primarily the dispatcher that answers your call is typically the one that is going to dispatch those units as well. So they're going to get some generalized information, and then you might hear some silence. They might tell you to hold. We don't want you to hang up, because the dispatcher in that time is actually dispatching units to your location. And what some people don't realize as well is when they're actually on the phone, or they might be talking, there might be some silence. The dispatcher might be talking on the radio at the same time. It just mutes the phone call. So they're actually multitasking. They're doing a couple things at once while they're actually on the phone with you.
Very good information. Thanks for your time today, Tony.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.